Hi everybody! One of the biggest threats to our beautiful marine life is fish bombing. Corals, fish is a whole ecosystem that dies when a bomb is thrown into the sea. In July 2019, 2 tourists and their dive master died when a fish bomb exploded next to them. Today, my guest is the director at Stop Fish Bombing Malaysia. Good afternoon, Terence Lim.
Hello, hi Julia. It's good to be on the show with you. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me today. Can you briefly remind us what is fish bombing and when did it start here?
Well, fish bombing, as the word bomb, it actually means somebody throwing or putting into the water an explosive device, and the explosive device will then explode underwater, and the concussion will stun the fish or kill the fish. But at the same time, also it will damage the coral reefs and also other marine life that is within the vicinity of the blast. As you all know, in our marine environment, it's very fragile. We have a lot of type of marine life in there, both microscopic and also big enough for us to enjoy, to look at while we are scuba diving. So the damage is actually quite big, especially in the microscopic size, which is also very important towards the ecosystem. And this is one of the damages that is not properly studied yet. So as to your question, when did this happen? I think from our record and from the literature that is available, fish bombing has been happening for many, many years, for a long, long time already. It probably started more rampantly after the Second World War. As the day progresses, as people are able to access to explosive material, it becomes more rampant. This is quite commonly heard by scuba divers where they're diving, and they will hear a huge bang underwater, and they will come up and say, "What the hell happened? What was that?" So it's actually a blast underwater.
Yeah, I'm a scuba diver, and I actually heard one while I was diving one day. It was pretty loud.
One of the challenges with it being loud is that you don't know where it's happening.
Yeah. Stop Fish Bombing is the result of a collaboration between Tang Hoi, a conservation organization based in Hong Kong, Scuba Zoo, a production company in Malaysia, and ShotSpotter, an American technology company that developed a gunshot detection device. How did the idea to use the ShotSpotter device come up?
Well, actually, there was a paper that was published by Mr. George Woodman from Tang Hoi on studies on explosive underwater and a detection method that he has come up with. Somehow somebody in the US got hold of his paper, and they presented it to ShotSpotter, which is a company that use triangulation method of sound waves, gunshot triangulation, to detect the location of a gunshot. So basically, when Tang Hoi and ShotSpotter get together, and they decided that it's something that we could work to collaborate with and use the technology that's available with ShotSpotter to use the same kind of technology to detect blasts underwater.
You categorized fish bombing in 3 groups: the curious blasters, the blasters that have a family to feed, and the commercial blasters that you say to be the most destructive. Why?
Let me elaborate a little bit more on the 3 groups of people that are actually doing this blasting. The curious blaster or the weekend blasters are people just able to get their hand on a small explosive device, and they just want to hear how loud it is, and at the same time curious how much fish they can catch. And this is the weekend guys or the curious guys. They just throw one out and see what happens. The one that trying to feed the family, these are the poor people, coastal people. They have probably about 5-6 children or maybe more that they need to feed due to social pressure in terms of trying to get food or money to feed the family. One of the easiest way is to throw one of these bombs in the water, and they can collect enough fish, hopefully, to feed the family or even to sell it. Now, these two groups are not as destructive as the commercial guys. The commercial fish bombers are basically a boat, a mothership, will go out with 4, 5, maybe even 10 smaller boats, and they will go all over the reefs and they will blast everything they can find, and they will collect all the catch or the fish that has been blasted back onto the mothership to be processed. And because it has a mothership with them, they can go further out to areas that are quite difficult for us to manage or to protect. And they are out there on their own, and they can do so much destruction without anybody knowing that they are there and what they are doing.
So what are the consequences when fish bombers are caught? Are they all the same for each group of people?
Well, the law does not specify if you're a weekend bomber or you're someone to feed the family or you're a commercial bomber. The law is classify you as a person that is, one, in possession of any apparatus for fish bombing, you can be charged. Number two, they have amended the law now that if you are in possession of a fish that is suspected and proven to be caught by means of explosion or blast, you can be charged also. At the moment, it's 5 years in jail and or 50,000 ringgit fine. But the issue here is that it's the proof that this activity has happened and the people are caught while conducting this activity. So this is the biggest challenge, and this is where Stop Fish Bombing with the collaboration with Shot Spotter comes in with the technology that we are assisting with the local authorities to detect the blasters in real time, and also the location of the blast, so the relevant authorities can react to it more accurately.
So let's talk about this device that is meant to be the solution against fish bombing. Yeah. How does it work underwater?
Basically, it's actually it's a device that has two components to it. One is underwater, and the other part is on the surface, or tied to a boat, or could be a jetty, or fixed point. So the part that is underwater is basically the ears or the hydrophones. So these will listen to a blast. Once they detect a blast, the system will then search out to the other sensors that are available to ask them, did they hear the blast or not? And if more than 3 sensors heard a blast, then we can use a very smart algorithm to detect the location by triangulation of the blast. Once this is confirmed that there is a blast and the location, then a signal will be transmitted and sent to, for example, myself, which is an app that will beep, and then I can then look at it, and I said, all right, confirm, and I can then double check it to make sure that it is really a blast. And by downloading the audio, and I could hear that it's actually a blast. Well, once it is confirmed, then I'll notify the relevant authorities so they can react to it. So basically, there's 2 parts to it. One is underwater, and the electronic, the battery, and the microchip and everything else is on the surface.
Yeah, I heard. I saw on one of the 8X presentations that you did that also one of the other people talked about shrimp clicks, and that also uses the audio.
Yeah, so there's exactly, Julia. This is one of the challenges that we are trying to overcome with this electronic. The hydrophones are very sensitive. They can actually pick up audio. For example, in our case, a blast as far as 20 kilometers away. Wow. So it is a very, very sensitive equipment. At the same time, this little small shrimp you'll be surprised that the clicking sound is the frequency of the clicking sound is almost identical to the blast. So this sometimes confuses the system. The audio picks it up and the system then tries to figure out, is it a blast or is it a shrimp click? So we are now in the midst of developing a software to filter out the shrimp clicks so the system can be more accurate.
Isn't there a chance the device might be damaged if a bomb set off near it?
Definitely. So those are a few of the challenges that we're facing. So when we install the sensors, we normally pick or choose a location that is safe for the equipment from any damage that is caused by not only the fish bomber, it could be somebody that is curious, that we can swim around and say, hey, what is this little thing underwater? They will poke on it or just move it around. So we will pick a location where it is safe and we know that there will be minimum chance of any damages to it.
So far, you mentioned that it could pick up from 20 kilometers away. Is that the furthest that it can locate it from?
Well, this is one of our trials. When we did one of our trials back in 2015. The furthest distance that we had a hydrophone underwater was from the location of a blast was about 17 kilometers. So we know that it could easily go 20 kilometers. The contributing factor for the range to be reduced is the shape of the reef and islands, for example. So if there's an island or a reef in front of between the hydrophones and the location of the blast, the point of the blast, then this will probably reduce the distance of sensitivity of the hydrophones.
The goal is to install 250 devices along the coastline. How many do you have now that are ready to operate?
Well, our goal is 250, Julia. However, we are only at the moment, we only have 8. So there's a long way to go. Plus, this equipment is not cheap, not only expensive to obtain, but it's also expensive to maintain at the same time. So we are trying our very best to get people to sponsor or to donate some funding to us so we can continue with our goal of having at least 250 sensors. And this is only the coastal area of Sabah. We are not I'm not even mentioning about the islands away further out from us. But by providing this, having installed 250 sensors, we hope that our drive with the community, that they know that there is another alternative source of income that can be provided through us. We can actually support them for this. Hopefully that will also be enough to be a deterrent for them to go further out. Because if they know if there is another way of a method of making money, which is cheap, less stressful to their life, easier for them, not against the authority or law, we hope they will be able to embrace this and stop this activity.
COVID-19 has affected many businesses and individuals. How has it affected SFB?
Well, as we speak now, before our second lockdown, actually Sabah is the third one, for whole country the second one, we were supposed to install sensors in Semporna just before the announcement of the lockdown. Actually, we were already in Semporna. We have equipment there. We were ready to go out. But as we arrive in Semporna, as we prepare our team for the deployment, the same evening, we have the announcement that there is a lockdown. So we have to repack everything up, put it back in storage. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, or maybe less, I hope, we can go back out there and continue with the installation. Again, our goal here is more of a deterrent. We want to show to the community, and especially to this group of people, the blasters, that conduct this activity, that we have the technology that can catch them and monitor their activity. Because one of the biggest challenge until today is we do not know how, where, and when they blast.
What are your goals for this year? Obviously, maybe trying to set up your devices that you already have. Do you have any other goals for this year?
Yeah, our goal for this year is that, in fact, we just had our board meeting last week, and we have come up to an agreement that we will continue with our effort now with Sempona, and we want to continue to add at least another 50 square kilometers of sea area that we can listen to all these activities, to monitor all these activities. So our goal this year, hopefully, we can achieve this before end of the year. 50 additional more square kilometers. At the moment, we're sitting about also 50 kilometers square. We want to double that to another 50 kilometers square. And hopefully by the end of the year, we get more funding and we can achieve our 250 goal. We actually have a few sensors of Kota Kinabalu. You are more than welcome to come and see how the sensors look like. Yeah, we are more than welcome. Initially, when we started the program, we were trying to hide it, because we do not want people to really know it. Not because we are afraid of too many people knowing it, but through the past couple of months, we realized that actually by letting people know that we have this device listening underwater, people, the fish bomber, once they hear, they know that this area has a fish bombing detector device there, they will move away, because we have not heard detected any blast in the last 5-6 months.
Oh, really?
In an area that we have our sensors monitoring. Before that, we used to hear at least 1 or 2 blasts every other day. But after when we reported the activity, 5 people were caught, and from there onwards, I think the word has gone out that the people now knows, the fish bomber, I mean, knows that this area has a sensor there listening in. So the area is kind of protected, but this doesn't mean they are stopped doing this activity. They might have moved on to a different location to do this, because we only have a small area which is monitored by our sensors. So that's why we are trying our very best to get funding, so we continue driving this coverage of our sensors, so that once the fish bomber knows that the area where they used to bomb or fish bomb are protected and have a device in place, they will move away, or hopefully they stop and change their activity there from a destructive to a more productive activity.
Well, I'd love to come and see them. It would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually all for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Lim. I'm very
you're welcome.
hopeful your work will eventually pay off and Malaysia's reefs will thrive again.
We will. If definitely, we all have faith that we can achieve this.
Yeah. Such a beautiful reef, it can't go to waste.
Yeah.
Stay safe and take care.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you for watching today's interview. Make sure to stay safe, home, and wear face masks. See you in the next one. Gong si fa chai!